It was a quiet Tuesday morning in Georgia, sunshine filtering gently through the trees. All I wanted was some caffeine. They say it's the lifeblood of the universe, right? I was just coming back from a family gathering, a whirlwind of laughter and pie, already thinking ahead to my next busy week at work. But that routine morning took a sharp turn when I noticed a police cruiser loitering behind me, lights flashing. And just like that, my heart dropped. Just another day in the life. Right? Or so I thought. You might wonder why I was feeling uneasy. I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. But let's be real. Being pulled over isn't exactly relaxing for anyone, especially the black woman in America. I signaled for the officer to pass, thinking perhaps he was just trying to get around me, but nope, he pulled me over. An older white cop stepped out, looking like he'd seen one too many cop movies. And I swear, right off the bat, he looked annoyed. I was nervous, but I tried to keep it cool. "Good morning, officer. What's this about?" I asked, my voice steady. He raised his eyebrows, scanning me like I was about to take off running. "You were drifting, ma'am," he said, disbelief dripping from his voice as a younger officer, maybe fresh out of the academy, came over and made a beeline for my trunk. That's when my intuition kicked into overdrive. "Is this really necessary?" I asked, trying to keep my cool while my heart raced. "You don't have probable cause," I asserted, even though I felt my palms getting slippery against the steering wheel. I mean, does anyone actually think a plastic bag of white powder is going to show up in the trunk of my car? Lo and behold, they did find something, because of course they did. The younger officer came back with a plastic bag. "What's this then?" he asked, a smirk plastered across his face. I was done now. "That isn't mine. You can't just search my car for no reason," and that search was illegal. I could feel the tension escalating, but I also sensed that something much bigger and dirtier was lurking in the background. Next thing I knew, I was being slapped in handcuffs with no explanation of my rights, sitting in the back of that cruiser. I thought about how easy it is for people to jump to conclusions about me, to see the color of my skin before they ever took a moment to see who I truly was. It had happened too many times before. I was not about to let it happen again. After what felt like an eternity in that cramped police car, I heard the sergeant's voice. "We've processed your ID. You're the DEA director." Their faces twisted with shock. Panic creeping in. Suddenly, this mundane morning morphed into a cinematic showdown, and I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow at their sudden change in demeanor. "Go on, secure the building, gentlemen," I commanded, my tone sharp enough to cut through the tension. As they scrambled to contain the situation, their cries of disbelief morphed into something that sent chills through me. Those drugs hadn't just appeared out of thin air. They were linked to an old corruption scheme within the very department that was supposed to have my back. The drugs found in my trunk. They were stolen evidence items that belonged to real cases and, more importantly, real lives. With every shaky breath, I thought of all the young Black and Latino individuals caught in the same web of injustice. How many, like Jordan Lamar, wrongfully arrested and tragically lost in the system, had suffered because of this? Things spiraled further when the investigation revealed a covert operation called Zeno, a program set up to manipulate evidence to frame folks like me or anyone else they deemed easy targets. I had unwittingly reactivated Zeno in my wake. As the investigations unfolded, the DEA initiated a series of strategic raids, peeling back layers of rot that had grown for far too long. I was right up there in the thick of it, showing leadership and determination, confronting the kind of corruption that thrives in the dark. Then came the moment I had both dreaded and anticipated. I was face to face with Marcus Velt, the mastermind of this entire scheme. He stood there, cocky and smug. "You think you're going to take me down? This is bigger than you, Alana always has been." I leaned in, matching his sneer. "Not anymore, Marcus. You're the past and I'm the future." And just like that, the handcuffs that had clasped around me earlier seemed to shift to him. Finally, after countless nights fueled by determination and sleeplessness, Zeno was shut down. We developed a new transparent system called Lamar, named after Jordan, to honor those who had fought against the tides of injustice. But instead of vengeance, I found myself navigating a vast array of emotions. I visited the officers, the ones who'd arrested me, handing them closure instead of a grudge. That might seem surprising. Some people called it healing. Others might call it a naivety, but I just saw justice framing hope. In the aftermath, I couldn't help but reflect on the bigger picture, on systemic injustices, racial profiling, and the deeply ingrained biases people have. So I want to leave you with this: in this world where struggles feel heavier than our victories, we need to talk about justice. We need to question what's right versus what's wrong. I want to know, have you ever felt that you were misunderstood? Countered a moment where you had to rise up or fight back? Let's hear your stories in the comments below, because when we share our experiences, we pave the way for change. Are we ready to stand together against a broken system? Your voice is powerful. Let's make it heard.